Hi, I do thank you for tuning back in to Poem Praise 2. And we are going to move right along in our extraordinary African Americans. I have a Mr. Bluford and Miss Jemison, which were astronauts. And this is the information I have on the two of them. Now, if you want to succeed, you must work hard, dedicate yourself, and make the necessary sacrifices. Once you set goals for yourself, you should doggedly pursue them until you achieve them. And that was said by Mr. Bluford. Now, Mr. Bluford sat strapped to his seat aboard the 100-ton space shuttle Challenger on August 30th, 1983. A few minutes after 2:30 a.m., the Challenger blasted off, carrying the first African American astronaut into space. Now, Bluford was born in Philadelphia in 1942. He joined the Air Force in 1964 and flew 144 combat missions in Vietnam. He logged more than 3,000 hours of flying time and was awarded more than 24 medals and awards. But Bluford wanted to do more than just fly airplanes. He wanted to design them as well. Soon after returning from Vietnam, Bluford was accepted at the U.S. Air Force Institute of Technology, where he earned a master's degree in aerospace engineering. Then he began testing new airplanes and evaluating new aircraft systems. In 1978, Bluford received his Ph.D. in aerospace engineering with a minor in laser physics. In the same year, he applied for admittance to the astronaut program with the National Astronautics and Space Administration, NASA. Although 8,878 people had applied, there were only 35 openings. Bluford was selected to fill one of them. Now, training took place at the Johnson Space Flight Center in Houston, Texas. For 6 months, Bluford attended classes in aerodynamics, medicine, astronomy, geology, and communications. He spent weeks learning to operate the space shuttle remote manipulator and working with computers, power systems, and instruments that controlled the shuttle's movements. Now, the U.S. space program had gotten underway in 1957 when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, a 184-pound space satellite. Now, the American public was shocked at the Russians' first, and within a year, NASA was created. In 1961, the Soviet Union scored another first when Yuri Gagarin became the first man to orbit the Earth. 23 days later, the United States launched its first man in space, Commander Alan B. Shepard. By the time Bluford entered the astronaut program, the United States had taken the lead in space exploration. Now, in August 1983, Bluford joined the crew aboard the Challenger, the second U.S. space shuttle, and began a 6-day flight in space, 180 miles above the Earth. Now, during the flight, Bluford launched a 45 million INSAT 1B communications and weather satellite for India. He also participated in medical tests to discover why some astronauts experience motion sickness. On October 30th, 1985, Bluford blasted off for his second Challenger mission. The mission consisted of 111 orbits of the Earth, during which 76 scientific experiments were performed in April 1991. Bluford took his first trip into space aboard the shuttle orbiter Discovery for a 199-hour, 134-orbit flight. Unlike Bluford, Macy Jemison did not begin her career with the Air Force. Born in Decatur, Alabama, she grew up in Chicago, Illinois. She graduated from Stanford University in California with a degree in chemical engineering, then went on to attend medical school at Cornell University in New York. During this time, she worked in a refugee camp in Thailand. Jemison continued interest in working in foreign countries, led to her learning to speak Swahili, Japanese, and Russian. After graduating from medical school, Jemison joined the Peace Corps and served as a medical officer in Sierra Leone and Liberia. She developed a self-help program for local people and supervised the healthcare system for both Peace Corps volunteers and U.S. Embassy personnel. After leaving the Peace Corps, Jemison decided she wanted more adventure. She applied to NASA to become astronaut training in 1987. A year later, she served as a mission specialist on STS-47 Space Lab-J. In 1992, she won a place on the Space Shuttle Endeavour. With this mission, Jemison became the first African-American woman in space. In 1993, Jemison left NASA and became a professor at Dartmouth College. She is now director of the Jemison Institute, which helps people in developing countries through technological change. Like Bluford, Jemison made her mark both in space and on Earth. And that does complete the information I have on Bluford and Jemison, our astronauts. Now, our next extraordinary African American that I have for you is Muhammad Ali. Yeah, the heavyweight champion during the time period of 1942. And I will be getting back with you real soon. I do certainly thank you for tuning in, and I'll be hollering at you a little later, okay? All right, this does conclude Poem Praise 2 regarding the astronauts. Next is coming up, Heavyweight Champion. All right, later, y'all.